Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of my F1 2020 My Team Career Mode for the United States Grand Prix over in North America. So let's see what the story is heading into this one. We have a pretty big championship lead in the fourth to last round of the championship, and really only the top couple are still in title contention. Romain Grosjean I think could, but he'll need a good result here today. But he's really been on form recently, just bad strategy that really hindered him in Japan, but his pace there was very good, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I'm also doing a 50% race this time because Circuit of the Americas has never really been a track I enjoy that much, but I have to say after doing this race I wish I did make it longer, but oh well, that is already done now. Once you go into practice you cannot change it, let alone in the race. But no, I actually enjoyed this more than I usually do around this circuit with a much faster car. The circuit is a bit nicer to drive, but anyway, we purchased rather a upgrade to the ERS that will hopefully come in a few rounds time, Brazil I believe, for that one. But anyway, we do continue on with qualifying, get through Q1 reasonably easy. Q2 though, there'll be rain coming very soon, so we have to swiftly go out and set a lap time right at the beginning of the session to make sure we do not get any rain interfering with our lap. You can see it's already quite dark and gloomy, and potentially the spots of rain already starting to come down.
Fantastic. That was the fastest lap
in some places, but anyway, we get through Q2 very easily. Romain Grosjean though is knocked out, and that is a disaster for his title hopes, and yeah, that is really not what the Frenchman needed at this stage of the championship. He needed to get through there, but maybe he was a bit caught out in the conditions. I am not sure, but yeah, no good for Romain Grosjean there, unfortunately. Into Q3 though, and you can see now we are on the soft tyres still. It was actually raining at the start of the session, but now it's dried up, and you'll see the delta in the top right going up like a rocket ship, the amount of time that will gain on this lap versus the initial banker on intermediates. So yeah, the delta really doesn't mean anything. We just need to put in the best lap that we can. We were one of the last, or if not the last, to set our lap time, so we'll see how that goes. That car behind us just finished their lap as we started ours. I think that's Pierre Gasly, so it'll be interesting to see what the time difference is, because I should mention it's only just stopped raining. It's only just switched over to the slick tyre conditions, so the track is far from optimum, and the track evolution will be very, very fast. We left our lap to the absolute last possible second that we could, and we've got two purple sectors, so this will be interesting to see how the rest of this lap goes as we head through a bit of a swapper. That's a new one. Bit of a swapper on the back end there on the exit of that corner there, but anyways, we continue through the lap. Just one corner to go now, and we'll see where this lap puts us. I'm feeling like it's a pretty good lap, even though we've made a few little mistakes. The track for us is a lot better than it was for anyone else.
Fantastic.
So here we go then, and it's pole position for the US Grand Prix, and that is a nice change.
Qualifying finished, it's time to remind ourselves of our top three. The scientist, Bottas, and Daniel Ricciardo. With qualifying wrapped up, we now have our grid lineup for the big race tomorrow. Be sure to join us then for what will no doubt be a fantastic race.
And there you have it, pole position, and look at the time gaps that we have. Pole by almost 3 seconds. That's just due to how much later we set our lap time, and it's another few seconds back to Pierre Gasly. So yeah, the track really evolved, and you know, as I said, Pierre Gasly was the first to set a lap time, and good to see that Bottas and Ricciardo left their laps pretty late. But yeah, it'll be interesting. Now let's get into it.
Here we are then in one of the fastest growing cities in the United States, the fabulous Austin, in the great state of Texas. The circuit itself 14 miles southeast of the city centre and home to the US Grand Prix since 2012. the latest in a long list of iconic tracks to have that honour. It's the Circuit of the Americas then, situated 14 miles outside the great city of Austin. This is the 3.6-mile lap with 20 corners, 10 each to the left and to the right, and top speeds of around 200 miles per hour. Overtaking opportunities are available into turns 1 and 12, especially with that rear wing DRS wide open. Joining me for today's race once again is Anthony Davidson. Now, can I get your take on Max Verstappen? There's a new gearbox in the back of that car, which means a grid penalty, and hopefully some excitement as they make their way through the field.
Well, at the end of the day, it's always better to take some pain now than parking it up halfway through the Grand Prix. Let's just hope they can put that new gearbox to good use and get the results they're looking for.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. The scientist lines up on pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Ricciardo, Norris, Nobuharu Matsushita, and Kvyat, Gasly, Grosjean, Hamilton, and Sergio Perez, Leclerc, Sainz, Esteban Ocon, and Stroll, Albon. They've taken a grid penalty. Magnussen, Max Verstappen, and George Russell, Giovinazzi, De Vries, Latifi, and Guan Yu Zhou. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out. Then let's see who can prevail today.
With your podium last race, the team are hoping for more of the same, but with yesterday's qualifying performance, it could be tough. Good luck.
Tough to get a podium after getting pole position. I don't know what you're looking at, Jeff. This is an auto reverse grid race. But whatever. We'll get into it. This strategy is looking awfully familiar, having flashbacks of the last episode where we tried the soft to hard and everyone else went soft to medium. So I'm going to play around with this a little bit and see what we can come up with. I'm going to see if the soft to medium strategy is possible. It doesn't really look like it though, trying the different options here. Soft to hard, definitely. But soft to mediums, it actually is not going to let me adjust the strategy to do that. It won't let me switch straight from softs to mediums for the rest of the race. It just is simply impossible. So I don't know how to work this one. Every time I try and switch to the second stint to mediums, it adds a third one automatically. So yeah, I'm not sure if it's possible. It's going to be a stretch to do it, but if we can do soft to medium, it will be very, very beneficial to our race strategy. So I'm going to keep messing around with it. I'm going to try and figure out how much we're missing by effectively, how little time it is, how little like the middle stint can be, because sometimes it's only a lap short and we can make up for that, and you can see it there. The tyre difference, if we really stretch the stints, we only have to make an extra lap on a set of tyres to make the softs to mediums work. So basically we'll just ignore that middle stint of one lap there, and that will get us to the end of the race easily. The tyres will be wearing out, sure, but I think it is worth it to be on the faster compounds for a longer amount of time. But that's enough rambling. Let's finally get into this race as we go to the 5 red lights. And those lights out and away we go for the US Grand Prix. And it's a decent start for us off the line. Bottas though behind, having a look as we head into the first corner. We leave him some room on the inside. We go out wide ourselves though, too deep into the first corner. The car understeering pretty badly there. And Daniel Ricciardo around the outside, we give him some room. We actually give him a lot of room there. And we'll drive ourselves off the circuit. And the front end really unresponsive through here. The car just understeering so badly. And I'm going to have to get used to this, especially these 2 corners. I tried to just throw the car in and gain a bit of time back on Ricciardo. And the car just did not want to do that. And now we're under pressure from Lando Norris behind in the McLaren. We'll see what he can do in this race. But yeah, that is not been a great start for us, down into 3rd position with our title rivals ahead. But it'll be interesting to see if we can move our way forwards. And also Romain Grosjean, let's see what he can do throughout this race as well.
Fine. Let's try and move forward.
And yeah, let's try to move forward indeed through this race. We move on, and we are catching Daniel Ricciardo back once again as we head through the final couple of corners on the third lap of the race. DRS is enabled by now, so let's see what we can do with it as we run up towards turn 1. We've got a good toe here, and we might be close enough to do something. Have a look to the inside, but no, we're not quite there, and that was Matsushita with a mechanical problem. Disaster for him. He qualified really well in this one. That's going to drop him down the order if he's losing pace in this one, especially if it's at the same rate Fiat was in the last episode. You saw how slow he was going there, but he was able to hold on to some the good track position that he had, Fiat, so it'll be interesting to see. Much easier to overtake here though at Circuit of the Americas than what it is at Suzuka. So yeah, it's not great signs for Matsushita's race. But as we have been talking about that, we have stayed within range of Daniel Ricciardo, and now let's see what we can do with the DRS open along the run. The back straight, very long, past the Ferris wheel, under the sign, and getting closer and closer to Ricciardo. We go to the outside, round the outside of our fellow Australian driver, but Ricciardo, good traction on the exit. We're going to continue to run side by side as we head through, and we'll have the inside line for this next very awkward couple of right-handers, and we get the move done on Daniel Ricciardo and move ourselves up into P2 in this race ahead of one of our championship rivals. Ricciardo just not quite with the pace of Bottas at the moment, but he's doing a great job in that Red Bull, which really isn't there on the R&D charts with us and Mercedes, so he's doing a good job to keep up, but he's just not got the outright pace in that car. Bottas pit, but we go on, and of course we're going to continue to go on a few more laps, make these soft tyres last as long as we can, so we can do you know, a few less laps on the medium tyres later, and we're still going to continue on even more laps here as we continue through, and well, everyone else is doing a 2-stop, I believe, so I think we'll be okay as long as we don't get overtaken on this stint. So now I think we will finally pit. No, we're continuing, so we're doing a lot of extra laps, and you can see the understeer there as these tyres really don't have a lot left to give, and you can see me checking now the tyre wear as we are not even in puncture territory yet, but I don't really feel the need to push them that far as we continue on into the pits now. Daniel Ricciardo is out of the race. That was just a mechanical failure for Daniel Ricciardo, but that is title over for him, I think, with just 3 rounds to go. I don't think he would even mathematically be in the title fight with that issue. So disaster for Daniel Ricciardo, and yeah, no good for him. Yeah, really unfortunate. And yeah, he would be a lot closer if he didn't have so many mechanical issues. Ricciardo's had a number of them, and yeah, it has really hampered his title fight. But anyway, as we continue on further through this race, we're still in the lead at the moment as Valtteri Bottas makes a stop. There's a nice drift out of the hairpin there. Bottas sits in second with Lewis Hamilton in third, and there is Lando Norris in 4th position, a long way back to him. So that is how the race stands at the moment for the fight at the front. But now Bottas has caught up to us as we give him a little squeeze to the inside. Bottas though down the inside, we're later on the brakes, so on the outside line, side by side through the hairpin. Bottas leaves us a bit of room on the exit, just enough for it to keep us alongside as we get back down the inside. And we'll have a big old slide there, and Bottas holds on to the position as we just can't get any power down on the inside line there. Very tight, very slow, and no traction there. So yeah, unfortunately, Bottas has now taken the lead of the US Grand Prix, and now we are the chaser. We're on the medium tyres. They'll be fairly steady and durable, as well as having a fair amount of grip. So I think we'll be able to keep this fight going for the rest of this race. But yeah, it is going to be difficult to continue this fight. But Bottas, you may notice, is on the hards, so the key is only going to get faster and faster throughout this race relative to us. And you can see we're just not quite close enough this lap to make a move on Bottas, but getting a lot of time with the braking zone there. That brake upgrade coming in recently certainly helping us out in those zones of the circuit. We probably didn't see the full effects of that upgrade at Suzuka, but at a track like this with a lot of hard braking zones, we can certainly utilize the benefits of a brake upgrade. So we are doing just that little bit wide in the dirty air through that long right-hander, and that's going to be a consistent issue for us for as long as we are behind Valtteri Bottas. But here we go then, onto the main straight. We might be able to make a move here as we sit in the slipstream. We'll have a look to the inside of Valtteri Bottas, and side by side as we head towards the first corner, we give him a squeeze back to the outside. Side by side, we actually cut the corner there, but we do get ahead of Valtteri Bottas. He has a good exit though. He's going to go to the outside of turn 2, and we actually lift off there and let him keep the position as we did cut that corner. So I thought, in fairness, we will give that slot back to Valtteri Bottas, and we'll try again later on. So here we go onto the back straight, and let's see what we can do now against the Finnish driver as we head along the back straight. DRS open as we once again pass the Ferris wheel under the sign, and a good slipstream a little bit further back than what we were in Ricciardo, but we'll go up the inside of Valtteri Bottas, but we're really deep on the brakes. Bottas tries to switch it back, bit of contact and a front wing damage for us now.
Okay to continue. It'll cost us a little bit of time, but we're nearly at the end of the race. Check your MFD for a new strategy option.
And self-contradicting messages there from Jeff telling me we can pit, or potentially even we should, but also saying the damage isn't bad enough to warrant that. So yeah, I'm not sure what that was about, but anyway, you can see the damage to the front wing there as we have a look on the replay cameras. But got a good run back on Lewis Hamilton after he overtook us. We go up the inside, bit of a squeeze, banging wheels and side pods there, but Hamilton is able to hold on and watch the run through here. It is just absolutely horrendous. The car does not turn right for that double right-hander, and yeah, the left-hander's not so bad, but you can just see the car just complaining. It just doesn't want to turn right or left, really, all that much to be fair. But yeah, that double right-hander was absolutely awful. And going deep here as well, because the car just doesn't have that same turn in. Thankfully for us though,
we can't sustain this level of damage.
Lando Norris is a long way behind, so I think third place is pretty secure. But yeah, unfortunately, that is the way our fight for the podium has ended.
No rain expected for the time being. Dries seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
And actually hit the wrong button there. I was trying to ask about my teammate, but I was, I don't know, not paying attention. But anyway, we'll get to that in a moment. But yeah, that is the end of our fight for the podium in this one. Hamilton probably not close enough to Bottas to really try anything. So I think the top three are pretty much set. We're a long way ahead of Norris. So even though we're losing a lot of time, I don't think Norris will catch us if we can just keep things consistent. I thought about pitting to get a fastest lap, but I wouldn't get all the track position back that I have now, so it's worth it.
Is 43.3 seconds. They're on old hards. They're in 16th. The time last lap was a 1:38.3.
And yeah, Grosjean, he actually got damage as well at some point and made another pit stop, so his race has not gone much better, unfortunately. So yeah, it's been a pretty disastrous race for the entire team here at Circuit of the Americas. We certainly could have got a top two if we were able to hold off. Bottas would have been a win, but yeah, unfortunately it just hasn't worked out for us at all. But two people it has worked out for is Valtteri Bottas and Lewis Hamilton. It's a 1-2 for Mercedes. They've come across the line. Bottas wins, Hamilton in second. Great driving by the two Mercs. But for us, it is rather disappointing third place finish here at Circuit of the Americas.
Can't complain about that one. That was an excellent drive.
And yeah, the drive itself was alright, but the damage just ruined our fight for the top three, unfortunately. Guan Yu Zhou, driver of the day.
They take the checkered flag here at Austin after what has been another fabulous Grand Prix. Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today. What set them apart from the rest?
I'd say it was down once again to good, consistent driving, nailing the corners, working to the track conditions and perfecting the team's strategies. They got all of these things right today and the results speak for themselves.
Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again.
So Valtteri Bottas takes the race win here. That's all he can do to keep his title hopes alive. Lewis Hamilton finishes in second position, backing up his teammates. Good result for the team's championship for Mercedes, and we finish up in third position after that race.
Let's review the drivers' standings. The scientist increases their championship lead. Now, let's discuss, Ants. Who would you say is a contender for driver of the day?
It's got to be Valtteri Bottas, a commanding performance that I think had the audience's eyes glued to him for the majority of the race.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Our championship leaders retain their position, but their lead is shrinking. Meanwhile, Renault move up the table with another strong performance this weekend. Well, that was certainly an incredible weekend of racing. Be sure to join myself and Ant for more exciting Formula One action soon.
So we have a 71-point lead over Valtteri Bottas. Just doing some quick maths in my head. He's going to need to outscore us by, I guess that's 19 points if he wants to stay in the fight in the next race. So unless we have some serious issues, we should pretty much wrap up the title in the next round in Mexico. I guess we need 7 points to wrap up the title in the next round, or 8 points to be completely safe. So yeah, that's like a top 5 maybe, top 6, something like that. So yeah, that is not a huge issue for us. Unfortunately, it hasn't been the greatest or most historic of title fights in this one. Yeah, just bad luck for our title contenders, especially Ricciardo. He should have a lot more points than what he's got right now. But yeah, just, I don't know, there was that mistake in Singapore, and then the mechanical failures haven't gone his way. As for Valtteri Bottas, I don't remember a huge number of mechanical failures for him. There might have been a couple, but there was also that mistake in Belgium. And for us, we had those lucky results at the start of the season. I think we got P2 in the opening round and potentially P3 in Bahrain in the second round, third or fourth, something like that. So those results really boosted our title hopes versus our teammate Grosjean, who had no lack of pace throughout the season, but just didn't have the same luck that we did. Had a couple of bad strategies recently when the car has had the pace and when he has had the pace, but the strategy's been wrong, and that's hurt him a lot. But yeah, it's been an interesting one, and of course we will be continuing to the end of the season nonetheless. And we've got a floating bit of front wing after that bump with Hamilton there. There was actually a fragment of the damaged front wing that was just floating. That was strange on the right hand side there, but anyway. That brings the US Grand Prix weekend to a close. We actually picked Matsushita as our rival, our original teammate. I thought, actually no, he's not. Guan Yu Zhou was our original teammate. He got the driver of the day today, so both of them are coming along well in their Formula One careers. That Racing Point car, though, hasn't seen a lot of development, and that's why they're struggling so much in the recent past. But anyway, they both did a decent job. Matsushita, especially in qualifying, did very well this time. But anyway, other than that, we have not really a lot to do in terms of the HQ stuff. We can spend a little bit of money potentially on one of our departments, so we may do that. We're going to go for the powertrain and upgrade that facility, just more or less because we can. So yeah, that's not going to make any significant difference by the end of the season, given that there's not really going to be too many more upgrades, let alone upgrades to the powertrain. So yeah, that probably wasn't necessarily the wisest place to spend those, but anyway, it doesn't matter. We're having a look through various other parts of trees as well. But anyway, as for R&D, we're going to go for a minor upgrade to the chassis department, and now we will fast forward through and see if we get that power unit upgrade on for Brazil. No, we don't. Mexico rather, and we don't. So I'm wishing I didn't get that minor upgrade, so we had enough resource points to fix the fuel efficiency upgrade. which is actually one of the last ones we can do on the power unit side before we get blocked in. That is actually, that is a good reason to upgrade the power unit facility. But anyway, that's enough of that. I've been talking for too long, so I will just say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.